My name is Jareel. First, I'd like to give a big thanks to the melanin heroes or Harus, brothers and sisters out there. Just like to thank you for your teachings. Thank you for your time. For me, I really do appreciate it. And I'd like to go ahead and start our lesson. I call the matter of Kemet, or mathematical concept. Starting on the left side, GEMATRIA. This word basically is like algebra, if you want. Algebra, in a sense, relating to numbers and letters. So GEMATRIA is a form of geometry. That's where this word comes from geometry. The Kabbalah is basically the chemistry of life, a matter of chemet concepts. Matter chemet, mat chemet, or mathematics. For an example, the word life, if you use the chart on the next screen I'm about to show you, you can add up the number system for the word life and it'll give you a value. 9 means higher consciousness, God. 7 means divine wisdom or wise dome. 10 means completion or complete based on the numeral numbers 1 through 4. That's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. For an example, 18 is a numeric because 1 and 8 is 1 plus 8, which is 9. And 8 minus 1 equals 7. So we're talking a positive and negative system or number system here. Heaven to the far right, heaven represents 3 and earth represents 4. So heaven is the universe or the sun. So in the middle down there, 7 days of a week, 7 deadly sins, the 7 days of creation, the 7 notes of a major scale, the colors of the rainbow, the 7 chakras. To the right, we have the 7 colors of the rainbow, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. These are the same colors of your body, called the chakras. So this is a part that you need to understand of yourself. These are the light energies, the rainbow colors, the light energies. The major scale is your speech. The creation is the one beginning, your very life. The deadly sins are the basic glands in your body. The days of the week is creation. In other words, you walk each day. So these are the terms that we're going to be looking into. So again, looking at the heavens and the earth, if you add those two numbers together, you come up with 7. If you minus those two values, you come up with the value of 1. And that symbol represents a star or a sun. Let's go to the next step. Here goes a chart where you can break certain words down. So in the middle we got YHWH. You have 7 simple Hebrew, English, and 9, and this is the chart that it represents to get these certain total values off of this one wording. Here goes Adam the same way. So they could use these numbers to manipulate mind. We'll talk about that later on, going through the lesson, or even your consciousness. So certain words has an effect on your consciousness as well. Let's go. Again, you can look at these words in the Bible. Here goes some references of some sources in the Bible. And here goes the wordings. If you just add all the letters together, it will come up to this values. When you add all these numbers up, it comes up with value. So let's go to the next step. And this is the chart that it's using right here in order to determine these values. So the circle of creation. Basically, this is really talking about the circle. The circle is the very first thing that was created, such as the earth, the waters, and the universe. So the circle was the very first thing that was created. It is equal to 360 degrees. If you break the 360, if you add them across, it'll equal 9. So the circle represents high consciousness. If you fit a triangle in there with an equal value of 123 degrees each angle, it will form a perfect triangle. And the same thing with a square. If you hit 4 points of the circle or the triangle, you hit a perfect square. So Isis, Ra, and El, or Aset, Asar, and Haru, or Israel, you can see how it breaks down into a trinity. So explain to you a little bit more about this. Iset, or Aset, meets Asar. Asar and Aset come together to give a child. His name is Haru. So the square represents the throne, or the throne for El, or for Haru, who they gave birth. And that's why we have a circle in the middle of it. So let's go to the next step. No, sorry. Hit the square again. If you break it down in 4 points, you'll get 90 degrees. So again, the square, we can make a plus sign because that is also equal to a square. And each corner is equal to 90 degrees. So 90 times 4 equals 360 degrees. Let's go to the next step. Oh, sorry about that. All right, excuse me. The divine creation. Starting here to the far left, 0 represents the moon, or female. The sun represents 1, or the male. Male and female are joining their bodies, which represents 2. So this is 1, 2. Female, male, and child equals creation, equals 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Earth represents 4, which is the 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. Child represents a star, which is equal to 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are the 5 points. So 5 points equals the star. And awareness equals 6, or Merkaba. And that will be 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's also equal to 3 triangles, or rather 2 triangles inverted. So we have 1 triangle and the second triangle. This is not the Star of David. They say it's the Star of David, but it's really not the Star of David. This has to deal with Kemet or Egypt in those kind of terms. Let's go to the next step. Okay. 7 represents the body, which is time, or Nahu, or N. So this is also represents the DNA, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. 8 represents the VESICA PISCIS, or the heavens. Women have 2 chromosomes, and male has an X and Y chromosome. So again, the female has 2 chromosomes, or 2 X's, and the male has an X and a Y chromosome. When you add these chromosomes up, you come up with 720 for female and 630 for male. So only the woman can create, not the male. All the male does is provide, and the woman does the rest. This is a website that I have, talks about more about self-creation. We'll talk more about these symbols here later on throughout the study. Here goes the universe, so the VESICA PISCIS. You can see how the two circles are joining, or the many circles that are joining inside there. Let's go to the next step. Count on consciousness. So we're going to start again with the zero process, or the zero, or the moon, or the female. Represents Isis or a set, the circle. The moon has a negative polarity, or you get restless or moody sometimes. It's the being or the beginning. It also has a form of embracing. It comforts, it rests. So in other words, the moon puts you to sleep like mother. Like mother tucks you in bed, and the moon does the exact same thing. It is low energy. It comes out at dark, so it gets cold. It also gives you a form of direction. It has a sense, so in other words, your senses are low, or low sense. It gives you a form of light. You can read this on the side note. Let's go to the next step. Number one, the male, which represents the sun. This will be Ra or a Sar. Again, a circle. This is all science we're talking about here. It's positive. It gets hot, so you get kind of restless. At the same time, it affects your awareness at times. It's a form of power, solar, soul, or soul. So the word soul comes from these two words, soul or solar. It also embraces and comforts. It's full of high energy. It is also the beginning of life. It's light. It's hot. It gives you direction. It wakes you up in the morning. Just like your mother wakes you up, it does the exact same thing. Sometimes your dad wakes you up in the morning. So again, you could read this on the side note. Helios, which is equal to the sun. So Helios is the sun. Helios, or the word holy, comes from the word Helios. So holy is basically the word sun. So the Holy Bible is the sun, and then Bible means biblios, and that would be books. So the Holy Bible is the sun books. Let's go on to the next step. The triangle represents two, because that's both female and male. It's the relationship of joining the two, as you can see here. They're joining. It's a movement formed together to get her. Excuse me. So we have the male trying to what? Get her. So that's together. It's a form of light. Paraben means fire. It's also negative and positive. So that would be positive, negative. It's also a form of beauty. On a mathematical scale, it is broken into two parts, and those two parts are equal to 150 and 210 degrees. Again, if you add those numbers across, equal 360, you come up with the number 9. Childbirth is basically 510. If you minus those numbers together, you come up with 4, which represents the female. 210, if you add them together, remember positive. If you add them together, it comes as a male, number 3. And when you add them all together, it comes 5 as birth, and we'll show you that later on here. So male plus female equals birth. Let's go to the next step. Number three, creation. It's fusion energy. It's the triune or trinity. It's unity union. It's a sexual, means touch. It's cause, effect, result. It's eternal. It's also a form of light. It's mind, body, and soul. To the far right, the purpose. So again, let's follow this through now. Okay, it's fusion. From this point to this point, we have the female. She is the one who's horizontal. She lies down. We have the male that resurrects. That's his penis. This is the male's vagina. The male lies with the woman, creating a child. Okay? So again, this is unity. So we got the male and female being unified, creating a child. We have a sexual touch, as we explained. We have cause, we have effect, and we have result. So female is the cause, male is the effect, and the child is the result. And this is also eternal. So the female is the mind, the male is the soul, and the female is the soul, and the male is the mind, and the child is the body. On a mathematical scale, if we break these in 3 parts or 4 parts, we come up with the number 70, 100, and 220, which is also 360. Now, how do we get this 360? I'll explain that a little later on throughout the lesson, so you can see how the mathematical principles will add up to this right here. So child is basically male and female squared off, added together. The square root of those numbers equal to 5. So female is 4, male is 3. The square root of that number will equal 5, which is child again. So let's keep on going. The earth, El, or Haru, so angle or throne. Low and high energy, negative and positive. Its creation, its elements is fire, air, water, and land. Its direction, south, west, north, and east. It embraces. It's the beginning as well. It's the connection. So the child is the connection to the father and the mother. On a mathematical scale, if you break it down into 4 parts, you have 45 degrees, 135, 225, and 315. So if you add these across, you got 360. If you add these across, you got 360. Okay? And if you add all the numbers in series, you come up with the number 9. And then if you multiply those numbers by 4 and 10, because 10 means completion, you come with 360 degrees. So let's go to the next step. The child, or the star. It has either high or low energy. It is negative positive. It is beauty, a form. It's hot or cold. It comforts, it's restless, it embraces, it has a beginning, it's a light, it's creation. Once again, the star or the child is equal to number 5. So remember, we have the mother and the father. The mother is 4 and the father is 3, or the female is 4 and the male is 3. So let's count. We got 1, 2, excuse me. We got 1, 2, 3. So that represents male. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Represents female. So now we got female and we got male. So now we got 5 points. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, the child is a value of 5. Again, we got 360 degrees, which represents the circle, and that circle is broken down in 5 parts right here, giving a value of 72, 144, 216, and 288, which all equal 360 degrees. So if we add the numbers across, we get 360 degrees, and if we get each number and add each other number up by separating the number and adding it, we get 9. So for an example, 72 is 7 plus 2, which equals 9. And then we multiply that number by 4, we get 36. Multiply it by 10, you get 360. So again, if we look on the scale, only the mother could give birth to the child, not the father. Depending on the mother's circumstances, that's what the child will be. So if the mother's consciousness is not to where it needs to be, so will the child. As above, so below. So again, if the mother's energy is negative or positive, so will be the child. If the mother is restless, so will be the child. So depending on the mother, it's also depending on the effect of the child. So again, this is why the mother has to have balance, so that way the child will have balance. So even though the father does take part of this beautiful creation, it's really up to the mother to decide what the child is going to be, either female or male, when you think about it. So in her conscious mind, only her body and only she knows of what's really needed to order to fulfill that duty or that creation or part of that nature, because the black woman is of nature and also is of the universe. So if you look at that and take that and expect of above and below, you can clearly see that it's the women who decides what the child is going to be, not the male. The Maracabra. This is spirit and body, and this is matter. Okay? Low energy, negative, positive, and so forth down the line. So 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is also equal to 2 pyramids, upper and lower. Upper Kemet, lower Kemet. Above, below. Heavens, hell. Or heaven, hell. Universe, earth. So, and these are the 4 directions. So let's go to the next step. Again, we're going to talk about a little bit about the chakras and the kundalini, as we discussed in the beginning here. The inner self, this is godhood. Lower energy, again, negative, positive, earth, universal, the body. Bottom or lower, cold and hot, restless and comfort. So all this stuff right here has to deal with your body. Above and below. Under, overstanding. Under, over. It's light and darkness. Light, darkness. It's heaven and hell. Heaven, hell. So, omniscient. So that means what? Knowing all things, all-knowing, infinite, is knowledge, strictly of God. That means mind. So you got 3 points right here that represents omniscient. Blue represents truth. That's wisdom. Indigo also means knowledge or wisdom. That's your pineal gland. And purple represents high consciousness. That is basically illumination. So, speak truth, know truth is truth. So again, we have the 3 truths, or the 3 wisdom. So again, this is knowing all, see all, speak all, know all, see all. So this is the mind. Omnipotent means what? Basically, strictly said of God, or the identity, or his attributes, almighty, infinite in power. So the soul is the expression of his attributes. So this is you, your soul. Your soul is your attributes. This is omnipotent. So omnipresent represents at the same time in all places, everywhere present in a strict or absolute sense, chiefly said, or the identity. So this is part of your body. So we got the 3. This is your lower chakras. This is your mid chakra, your lower chakra, and your high chakra. So the mind, again, is the mind of God. The body is the body of God, and the soul is the soul of God. So again, we have female on this side, and we got male on that side. This right here represents the kundalini, or the serpent. Okay? So we have 2 sides of the serpent. We have a male serpent and a male serpent and a female serpent. The body, down here, the body is the spirit, creation, and experience, expression, spoken, mind, and knowledge. So again, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So that is all part of your body. Let's go to the next step. So that represents 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The DNA strand. Let's go to the next step. Again, part of your body dealing with your chakras. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Violet is the highest color. Red is the lowest color. So red represents desire. Violet represents wisdom. So again, blue is truth. Green is love, not red. Green is love. So why do you think people run after money? Because money is green. So that's why a lot of people love money, because green is love, not red. Red is desire. That represents lust. Devotion is orange. Yellow is digest. So that's why you get hungry. Think of McDonald's for an example. Red, orange, and yellow for McDonald's. You digest, you're devoted to it, and you desire it. So again, this is McDonald's. Yellow, orange, and red. You get hungry, you get devoted, and you desire. Okay? You love money because money is green. Again, they use blue for money as well, like insurance companies. Alright, so these are the results: spirit, creation, experience, expression, spoke, mind, and God. So let's go to the next step. So again, you can read this on your own. This talks a little bit more in detail about your chakra points. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, this is purple. This is red. So let's go to the next screen. All right, so now we're going to be dealing with the universe. And the universal heavens, or the universe is heaven. So let's find out and see the viscous pieces, the heavens, the black matter, the power of energy, the womb of the sky, the eternal story, the cosmetic mystery, the law of principles, the suns and planets, the family, the beast, the womb, or the womb man, the body. So if you look at this middle area, it looks like a fish, don't it? Kind of interesting, ain't it? So this is also called what? The ovaries. So I'm going to show you something here. O-V, Aries. O represents what? Women. Okay? So remember, A O, or the moon, or a circle, represents woman. V represents Virgo, or virgin. Aries is a zodiac sign. The symbol is also used as what? Pisces, or birth. It also represents what? Jesus, the fish. Well, let's go over here. So remember, over Aries. Let's find out. Over Aries. Where's Aries? Aries is right here. See? Aries. Over Aries is what? Pisces. Who gave birth to Pisces? Guess what? Virgo. Virgin. Virgin Mary. Mary? Yeah. Mary gave birth to who? Jesus. You kind of tricky, ain't it? Yes, it is. So again, we have a fish-shaped symbol, which is the Pisces, which represents Jesus, which represents what? Pisces. So Jesus represents what? Pisces. The fish, or the fisher of men. So again, this is the value of 8. 8 is what? Eternal. Infinity. See? The number 8. Okay, let's keep on going. The divine mathematical principle, duality or symmetrical system. Okay, so again, we have the viscous piscis. You can see a little dotted line right there. You got your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere of your brain. The women's most sacred area for you sensitive ears out there. It's also in the form of a viscous piscis. Same thing even with the ram. Same thing even dealing with the brain. So again, if I put this over here, you can still see the same thing here. So have you noticed that these three also look alike? See? This symbol right here is basically the numbers 1 through 4. Kind of look like a bowling pin, don't it? All right. So in other words, these are the rows and these are the columns. So you got the fourth, third, second, and first columns, and the rows down at the bottom. So basically, if you add them all together, you come up with the value of 10. So since we're dealing with a symmetrical or duality, we're going to copy these and put it at the bottom. So the same line up here will be at the same line up at the bottom, and you'll see why. Let's go to the next step. Oh, matter of fact, right here, the value of 10 is the number of completion. The value of 4 is all mind and movement, sound, light, geometry, and number, called the foundation. So this is the foundation of what we're talking about, and this was quoted by Dr. Phil Valentine. I'd like to thank him again for this. So the viscous piscis, the womb. So we're going to be talking about these number symbols here down at the bottom here. So again, we have a mirror image, okay, and we're going to use this as the midpoint. All right. This is our mid, our upper, mid, and lower, and we're going to get these sections and group them in 3. Okay. So again, we have a value of 7. All right, going all the way down. If you add them all together, or if you count them all together, it's 16. So 1 plus 6 is 16. So this is what that's doing down here. All right. So if you just count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if you count these as 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that's where we get 16 from. Okay, and 1 and 6 equals 7. All right. The number of rows, again, if you add all these together, you come up with the value 9. With the value of 28. And if you add 2 and 8 together, you come up with the value of 10. So remember, 10 means completion. So again, we're dealing with mathematicals here. So everything is starting to match up, as you can see. The center of attraction, which is these numbers right here, okay? So it'll be 5, 9, 8, and 5 again, that equals 27. So in the middle is high consciousness. That would be your what? Your pineal gland. And I'll show you that in a few. Okay? So again, 2 and 7 is 27. So 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. Okay? You can read this information on your own and see what it means by this and all this right here. All right, let's go to the next step. The divine birth, or woman and man. So again, we're going to be using the 7 principle, looking at the Kundalini, or the DNA strand. So you notice how they intersect the 2 in the middle. So you got 2 divided areas. You got 5 here, and you have a value of 17 here in the middle. Okay? So again, this is the male side, this is the female side. Again, you're going to go across the 2 intersections of the circle, or the 2 circles, both male and female end. So female end is 90%. This is the right side of your brain, and the left side of your brain is 10%. Okay, so that's why male is 3 and female is 4, because she's more complete. Again, you have 15 and 15, or 1515. Kind of messed that up there a little bit here, but it kind of look like Isis, don't it? So that would be mother, which is Eve, matter, black, dark, or the universe. So again, this is part of the universe. So we got those intersections of the circles that we showed you in the beginning of the video. All right, so above the mind, so let's take a look at the mind. The mind is 1, 2, and 3. So that represents what? 6. In the middle, it's also what? 8 and 9, which is these 2. Okay, right here as well. So these 2 equal what? 17, but when you minus them together, it comes up with the value of 6. Same thing here with below. If you add these 3 numbers again, you come with the value of 6. So now we have 666. Kind of interesting, ain't it? So again, even the ones are stating something. As above, so below. 1 and 1. Okay? If you multiply those numbers by 10, you got the value of 10. Completion. Again, creation, existence. So again, I'm just bringing this into existence one more time from my last video that I did before. So the atom, all the atom is just 6 neutrons. Okay, so it's 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. That's the carbon atom. That is also the solar system. So the atom is the solar system, as you can see here to the right. So I just want you to know, to match up that 666 that we talked about is the exact same thing as the atom. Okay, let's go to the next step. 9 represents what? The count of consciousness. Excuse me. It represents what? The circle of rotation. So everything has to rotate. Everything has to rotate. So just like at birth, we rotate in birth. So everything has to have a movement, or a spiral motion. That's 9. 9 is the consciousness. So spiraling up. So again, this is dealing with the chakras. So the chakras are spinning, remember. And anything that is not spinning means that it's dead. So in order for energy to manifest itself, it has to spin. It has to keep on moving. So those energies, or those chakras in the body, they have to spin in order for it to manifest, in order for it to come to consciousness, or for you to come into consciousness. So again, this right here is also can't pronounce this word here, but this is what it means. Okay, so this is the symbol that we're looking at, and these are the values of the series. So how do they come with this? Simple. The sample is 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. All right. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 3 plus 5 equals 8. and 5 plus 8 equals 13, all the way down to 144. Okay? So again, you have 1.618, and when you add these together, you come up with that value. But if you add those values across, you come with what? With 16. And if you add 1 and 6 together, you come up with a value of 7. So again, that's dealing with your DNA and dealing with your chakras to spin up. Okay? So that's where that comes from. All right? So if your chakras are not active, that means that your consciousness is dead. So how do you have to wake up your consciousness? How does one become awoken from a deep, deep sleep? We'll talk about that soon. So again, this is your body. Your body also equals these same values, as you can see right here. Okay? So 618, all right? If your head up from the shoulders or your neck to your head is equal to that value, and then from your bottom of your neck down to your waist equals that value, and then from your part of your elbow to the tip of your hand or your fingers will equal this value. So all these values equal to this right here. Okay? Let's go to the next step here. Again, children of the sun, sun-kissed beings. That's who we are. I want you to take a look at this word pagan for an example. Look at the word pagan. You can read this on your own. Okay? All right? So let's look at the format. Pagan. Again, backwards, this word backwards means what? Nigga. So that's N-A-G-A. N-A-G-A. All right? So again, excuse me here. When we think of the word pagan, we think of what? We think of culture. And the crazy thing about it is, like, whose culture is the Bible trying to tell you who to fear? It's trying to tell you to fear your own culture. And what is that culture? Basically, that culture is part of your well-being, your self-worth. So in other words, your past history or your past ancient story or your mystery and you. So again, this is self-hatred that affects the three major parts of what? Of you, your mind, body, and soul, or even your ancient past, your very beginning. So again, the word pagan is basically the word nega, and nega is who we are. Nega is the serpent. Nega is part of you, inside you, to understand or to overstand you. So if you understand yourself, you will begin to overstand yourself. You'll come to consciousness. And this is how you would wake up. This is how you would stir those energies in you and to get those chakras to spinning and for that kundalini to rise up. Okay? Let's go to the next step. You can read this, and I'm just going through little steps here so that way I can not waste too much video here. So let's go.